All it took was a few videos and a beta on a single map that most people can't even get into for the tables to completely turn. But as the hype train continues, it's left us with a very real question that deserves a very real answer. Will CS2 kill Valorant? With the Counter-Strike 2 limited test in full swing, and by full swing I mean about 3% of the player base, that doesn't include me, we finally have some measured responses on how the game feels. Although there are some expected bumps and it's literally just Dust 2, the general consensus is that the hype train is more than justified. But as we get more news and leaks about CS2, as well as clickbait titles from Valorant streamers, it's got a lot of people wondering what exactly Riot's response to all this is going to be. And before all the Valorant fans come for me, might I remind you that this exact conversation happened surrounding CSGO just a few years ago. And just like then, the discourse has spawned two separate camps. Those who think Riot's days are numbered, and those who think otherwise.
Think CS2 will kill Valo? I don't think it will even make a dent on Valo.
Well, lucky for you guys, I'm here to sift through all the hyperbole and find out what the real answer to the question is. And honestly, my conclusions might just shock you. But before we unlock these answers, we need to go back and look at what made Valorant such a successful competitor in the first place. At launch, Valorant flat out did a lot of things that CSGO didn't or couldn't do. To start, it had 128-tick servers in standard matchmaking, which is nice, a more fluid UI, and a robust anti-cheat system that, although being a bit invasive, worked a hell of a lot better than back. Oh, and it also had consistent content drops and somewhat regular communication from its developer. And well, even CSGO diehards can admit how nice that must be. Next to that, Valorant did a lot of things that just made it more accessible across the board. Its cartoonish style and omission of things like blood, real guns, and f***ing terrorism made it a lot more attractive. Not just broadly speaking, but for sponsors looking to attach themselves to it. Hell, it's been well documented that CSGO has struggled in certain countries and at the collegiate level for these exact reasons. Valorant is also a hero shooter, which adds a level of uniqueness that does just enough to separate itself from Counter-Strike. It also can't be discounted that having distinct characters improves the marketability of your game. And face it, Riot has basically made their own Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point. More than anything else, Valorant was a game that was easy to pick up and play. Sure, in reality, the game is a clusterfuck of abilities, but actually sitting down and playing the game with friends on stable servers is easy. CSGO has always been a bit more complicated.
Dude, it's lagging out!
Oh, yeah.
What the f***? It's getting DOS already? It feels terrible!
yeah. Yeah, we can't. I mean, we're done. That's it. That's a big problem with CS. It's very messy, and it's so hard to play. Like, its accessibility is f***ing just awful. Like, look at this. If this was Valorant, we open up the game, we invite each other, plus play. Look at the shit that we're dealing with right now.
For all these reasons, Valorant was able to successfully hemorrhage a portion of CSGO's audience, from tac shooter veterans and streamers looking for something fresh to disenfranchised NA pros looking to breathe life into their pro careers. More importantly, Valorant was able to do something very, very special. They brought entirely new demographics into the tac shooter genre, people who would have otherwise never given CSGO a shot. But what if I told you that Riot's ability to do this might actually lead to CS2 having more success in the long run? You see, if you were to ask tac shooter players which game is fundamentally better, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say Counter-Strike Go. Even the most staunch Valorant enjoyers will probably admit that. So here's the question. What if Counter-Strike could suddenly do all of those things that made Valorant successful? We already know that Counter-Strike 2 is a complete overhaul of every aspect of the game. It's quite literally bringing the franchise into the modern era. But more importantly, CS2 is solving a lot of the issues that CSGO had. Better lighting, sub-tick inputs, improved UI, and if the leaks are true, a new anti-cheat system that will end matches when a cheater is found. Now, knowing Valve and what we can already see from the limited test, I don't think they're going to budge on any of that realism that holds the game back from being content friendly. But Valve has had over a decade of feedback and a lot of time to study the competition. They would be stupid to not take the things from Valorant that make it more accessible and push it even further. An improved server browser, a premier matchmaking and tournament system that doesn't involve a fucking third-party website. Hell, what if the smoke grenades isn't the only massive gameplay change coming to the game? The sky's the limit here. So, what is the answer here? Will CS2 kill Valorant if it includes all of these things and more? Honestly, probably not. The same way that CSGO didn't die when Valorant came out. Both these games are going to exist in tandem, and you're allowed to like and play both. That being said, I think it's foolish to believe that Riot isn't looking at CS2 like, in a weird way, it's the new kid on the block. Listen, I'm heavily biased. I've been playing Counter-Strike my entire life. I get it. But I honestly think that it is the superior TAC FPS experience in almost every way. And maybe it's cope, but I think a lot of people who play CS2 as their first Counter-Strike experience are going to love it and never want to stop. I mean, just look at the recent numbers. CSGO was hitting all-time peaks even before the Counter-Strike 2 announcement. And every day it seems like it's breaking new records. And might I remind you that this is basically the same game that most people can't even play yet. Imagine what happens when the game actually releases. Is it going to decimate Valorant's player base? Absolutely not. But if I was Riot, I would be already cooking up a response. When it comes to streamers, don't get it twisted. Sure, they have their allegiances, but they're just going to go wherever the numbers are. If their fans want to see more CS2, they're going to play more CS2, and vice versa. Could we see a reverse exodus of Valorant pros and CSGO retirees coming to CS2? I mean, yeah, sure, anything is possible. Valorant's franchising did shaft a lot of pros, and if you're a player looking to find a place, CS2 could be worth a try. But that honestly all depends on if the infrastructure will be there by the time the game releases, especially for North America.
Will pros go back? Probably not. They left for a reason.
So, to reiterate, is CS2 going to kill Valorant? No, I do not think so. But, just like years before, I don't think that's the right question to begin with. Like I said at the jump, we already saw this exact same conversation back in 2020 when Valorant launched. And our answer then is the same as it is now. You can play both games, both of them are going to exist, everyone's going to be fine, relax. But, more importantly, competition in the gaming industry breeds innovation. So I think fans of either should be excited about the future. Because Valve has been quiet for a very long time, and now that we finally have an answer, it's going to be interesting to see how both games evolve alongside each other for the years to come. CSGO survived everything. Siege, Warzone, Valorant, Valve itself. It is the default FPS experience that cannot be killed. But Riot finally feeling a little bit of heat might be a good thing for both games. CSGO has always adapted. Will Valorant do the same? I've had no interest in playing Valorant recently. I don't know why. I have no problems with